Well, shocking developments at the lab this morning. It's raining again. Had a couple clear days this week. We were able to get out and do some stuff. I took both machines out yesterday and was spraying the Shore Guard and Roundup on Bermuda yards, and if I'd pass a fescue or centipede yard, whatever, I spray out with Prodiamine, just rolling, trying to get them squeezed in. The weather is not cooperating at all. We do a little stuff here this morning on my ryegrass, so strap in, check it out. Kind of misty and yucky. At least it's not super cold, but we're here at the lab, my house. This is my perennial ryegrass overseed here. I probably did just about everything wrong on this. This is some really nice grass seed. It's Pure Sport from Pure Seed. It's their perennial ryegrass blend. I put it into some super thick, super heavy Bermuda grass, and I didn't put the grass seed in very super thick and super heavy though, and that's probably a pretty big mistake. With perennial ryegrass or annual ryegrass, kind of a good way to go about it is to put it out really heavy. That way, in the you'll get a pretty thick stand of grass through the winter, but that way when it starts warming up, there's so much grass there for its competition, it never really fully establishes and is able to put down roots like it ought to, and it's a lot easier to kill, oddly enough, if you get it thick. And we're gonna take this ryegrass out of this lawn, obviously, and probably sometime in May. But anyway, so I didn't go super thick and super heavy, because when I put it out, I was right in the middle of fescue seed and all. I didn't have a lot of time to fart around with it. Number two thing that happens is the Bermuda kept growing and kept growing and kept growing after I put the seed out. So I've got a lot of dormant Bermuda sticking out over the tops of the ryegrass, and especially in the front, and I'll show you that in a minute. And now also with this wet weather, and I hadn't been able to get on this and mow it, so it's a little taller than it wants to be, and it's got a lot of brown, yellow junk in it, as you can see just from taking the beating from the cold weather. All right, let's take a look at the front. Here we are in the front. Not too impressive. It's not a good commercial for Pure Seed, but it's not Pure Seed's fault. It's Paul's fault. I haven't done anything to this. I hadn't mowed it, hadn't fertilized it. It's just been there. It's wet today, but I'm considering mowing it. But I know I'm at least gonna get a pre-emergent and some fertilizer on it. I'll mow a little strip and see what it looks like in the back, see how bad it is. But anyway, I got some special options for fertilizer today, so we're gonna do a little test and maybe, I hate to do that. I hate to put half the yard under one and half. Maybe I'll do the front with one and the back with the other. That won't be a very good side-by-side test, though. I'll think about it. But anyway. All right, I'm gonna try to mow a strip. We'll see where that goes, and I'll get back with you in a second. Stand by. Well, first off, I'll give you kind of a close-up of what we're looking at. You can still see lots of the dormant Bermuda in here. The Bermuda was really thick and kept growing after I seeded it, and I hadn't had a chance to. If I'd have kept mowing this down, I could have got the Bermuda lower. But I've been busy, man, and the weather's been crap. You see a lot of yellow from just the bad weather too on the actual ryegrass. It'll pop out. Let's get to it. Got it mowed. It definitely needs something to get that color going and try to get it growing some. Kind of don't want to get it too great because I'm gonna have to get rid of it, but anyway. And this is fantastic. The county put in a water line, and so I had just finally grown all that ditch bank in and they dug it up, but it's got some kind of, you see that huge color difference in their crappy annual ryegrass they put in it, and straw. This is gonna be a weed nightmare, but we're gonna work on some of that today. Overcast, drizzly. We're still getting it done to bring you this entertainment. Again, when you seed ryegrass, you want to seed it heavy so it crowds itself out, and it's easier to take it out in the late spring, and plus it'll fill in and look better than it does right now. We're gonna try to boost this up with some fertilizers and some other stuff and get my pre-emergent down. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what we're gonna do, and I got a cool new fertilizer to show you too, so stand by. All right, what we're gonna go for here today, mainly I want to get my pre-emergent out. I'm gonna put out a granular fertilizer. I might put some kind of liquid in this for some kind of color response and action. I'm thinking about some Green County dethatch, maybe just a little, like I don't know, 40 ounces an acre, 32 ounce an acre, something like that. I'm gonna put a full pound of prodiamine in, and I go ahead and dissolve that in an old prodiamine jug with some water, and I mark, you know, that I'm only using this to dissolve prodiamine in, because I don't want to get it mixed up with any other water dispersible granule that I'm trying to dissolve. That could be bad. So I'll get a little water in this and shake it up and give us some time to dissolve. And then I'll get back to you. Now, I don't have any real broadleaf activity to worry about out here. Maybe a little out on that ditch bank where they dug it up, but I'm not really going to worry much about a post-emergent with this right now. If I have some things cropping up before I take this ryegrass out in mid-May or so, I could spot spray them and take care of it. Pretty much a strategy for taking this ryegrass out is you can use manure. I've been having less and less luck with that, actually. Katana is good. I like to use Monument. That's probably what I'll do here, and that way it'll clean that ryegrass up, and it'll give you a pretty long effect on any sedges or anything else that you might have that would be popping up throughout the summer, and to keep your yard relatively clean for a while. Certainty, I guess Certainty would take ryegrass out. All kinds of options. You can do it with Celsius. Most of your sulfonylureas won't play well with ryegrass at all. It'll eventually take it out. But I found Monument to be one of the more effective ones, and the timing on that application is nice because it keeps you clean on a lot of other stuff as well. Shake this here up. This is the Green County dethatch, and I'm not, like I say, I've used this lots of other situations before, and I'm more or less after the molasses in it and nothing else. I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 pints per acre in there just for fun. Ooh, makes an ugly tank mix. There's that sweet color that combination produces. Yellow and black makes know what you'd exactly call that color. The sick water treatment facility brown or something. There you go. I'm gonna try this fertilizer on part of the lawn and run Carbon X on another part of the lawn. This is protein. When Carbon X went out of business, our buddy Pete Denny, GCI Turf, he got on the old Googler and found him a replacement, a granular that has protein hydrolysate in it. You know what that means? Peptide power, baby. So this is gonna have peptides in it. You got a good dose of ammoniacal nitrogen, which means it has a pretty large portion of ammonium sulfate in it for the nitrogen. And the other part of the nitrogen in it is methylene urea. So a real slow release, high quality urea. So this fertilizer ought to be banging, and it's got 4% iron and some, I assume a sulfate of potash, sulfur, magnesium, zinc, and did I mention peptide power? So this ought to be a good granular option to the, I mean, I can't afford to buy mail order bags of fertilizer from Pete. You know, we go through pallets and pallets of fertilizer. But the dudes with just 1 yard or whatever, there you go, there's an option if Carbon Earth never puts out a similar product. But that is different in some ways than, then it's going to be different in some ways than the Carbon Earth product. The Carbon Earth product's backbone was the biochar and the chicken litter. And I mean, that's not going to have biochar in it, but I mean, I don't know if you'll ever know the difference. I don't know if you'll ever miss it. But, and over time, I felt like the biochar, we were getting somewhere with it, but you ought to see a really good response out of this fertilizer, and with the methylene urea and a good amount of ammonium sulfate, it's got the goods to bring you to green, baby. But so check out GCI Turf Academy and get you some of that if you're just after one bag or something. That ought to be really good stuff. Expensive. Good fertilizer ain't cheap. Cheap fertilizer ain't good. I think that's how it goes. All right, well, I'm gonna run this Carbon X that's already in the hopper out on the back here, and then we'll crack open Pete's protein fertilizer and check that out. Stand by. All right, that's Carbon X right there. And you see the little aqua looking prills in there. That's urea. It's just coated with a urease inhibitor that slows its reaction down to urease in the soil to make it a slow release. And the protein is going to use a methylene urea. I'll show you one more thing here. Went back in the lab and realized I had an old bag of Carbon X Pro, and see the white balls in that? That's Ryegrass aminis. It's a combination ammonium sulfate and urea made into one prill. I'm surprised this bag hadn't turned into mush, but it's been in the shop there. The problem with the aminis was it just attracted moisture like a mother and dissolved, but this one seems pretty dry, so we're gonna get rid of it. What I've done here is went off that second column right there, and from here over put the old Carbon X with the Ryegrass and the little bit of other Carbon X I had mixed in there on this side and in the back. And for the rest of it, I'm gonna put that protein on it, and we'll see if there's a difference. Ooh, here's the protein. I didn't realize this. This is a homogeneous product, meaning that everything is put right into each individual granule. So that's nice. That's really nice. That way you don't have to worry about a lot of product being in one spot and the other spot. You know, from your spreading, it's all right there in each prill. It's a very fine, I think it's about a 180 SGN, so it's kind of fine. So it's gonna be hard to see slinging out of the spreader. I gotta be careful not to throw it all out on one spot. But that's nice. And again, this is gonna have the protein hydrolysate in it. It's gonna have some micronutrients, a lot of ammonium sulfate, and some methylene urea. So slow release. Then you're gonna have that sulfur and iron. Should be banging color out of this. That's a nice fertilizer right there. Impressive. Well, we've got our experiment in place. There's your protein. I mean, I'm not Pete's spokesman or anything. He wouldn't need me for a spokesman, but he does just fine by himself, thank you. But that's a really nice product. It's a golf product. High quality ingredients, should be really soluble in that small form like it is. I have no doubt you'll see results out of it. So I get asked about 40 million times a day, what can I use for a carbon earth product replacement until carbon earth returns? If carbon earth doesn't return, what do I do? Well, there's you an option if you're after a granular fertilizer with the peptides in it, protein. All right, well, check out GCI Turf Academy, I guess is where he sells that if you're looking for it. Pete found a good one there. But we'll show the results side by side with the other. Hopefully sometime soon this will start turning around and looking like something. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll check you out next time. Got some more work to do. Oh, well, there's all about the fertilizer. But if you want to ride with me, I got to go try to knock out some spraying. I got one that ought to be kind of interesting if it's dry enough to get on. I did the guy's front yard last year, so Bermuda yard, but he's got a lot of this hard pasture fescue or something in it. Really tough stuff to kill, but I mean, it grows in huge clumps. I did his front yard last year and he didn't want to bite off the bullet to do the back. I did the front last year with Monument, probably pretty similar this time of year. Phenomenal results. I'm gonna try the same move on the backyard this year, but with SureGuard and glyphosate, and see how that works out. So just a little extra tidbit if y'all want to stick around for that. Here we go. Okay, I hit this yard with one app of Monument about this time last year, just the front yard, and then came back a few times and pushed some fertilizer on it. I mean, you know, now you're saying, well, there's some weeds in it, but I mean, this thing was a wreck. I'll show you, well, you can see the neighbors over there and it was pretty similar, but I'll show you the back, and the back is what we started with. All right, well, there's where we stopped spraying. You can see why I'm such a big fan of Monument. It really cleans this stuff up. This yard's got a lot of like a hard fescue in it. This stuff is tougher than 80 grit toilet paper. Monument did a really nice job with it, and I got no reason to believe that this Flumioxys and SureGuard glyphosate mix won't do the same thing to it. About an acre's worth. I got look at that. I got like 12 ounces of SureGuard, 20 ounces of glyphosate, and some crop oil concentrate in there. We'll let it rip. Come back and check the results later. Well, if you stuck around for the spraying portion of the video, thank you. And that front yard, pretty remarkable results when you look at the lines of the weeds growing right up to where I'd sprayed it. And I, like I said, one herbicide application on that last year, and the rest of it was just nutritional things trying to push that grass out. And we really did push that Bermuda out and grow it in. Hopefully get the same results on the backyard, but we'll monitor it and see. Started raining just as soon as I got through, so I don't know. Hopefully it won't be too bad and have much effect on it. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and check out the, like I said, for the 5 million people who've asked me what a carbon earth alternative is, check out that protein at GCI turf. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day.